I don't care what the weatherman says when the weatherman says it's raining. You'll never hear me complaining. I'm certain the sun will shine. I don't care how the weather van points when the weather van points to gloomy. It's gotta be sunny to me when your eyes look into mine. Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Gosh, all get up, how'd you get so lit up? Gosh, all get up, how they hypnotize. Golly gee, when you turn those heaters on, wow, is me, got to put my cheaters on. Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Oh, those weepers, how they hypnotize. Where did you get those eyes?
Oh, we're live! Oh, we've been live for a while. Hello, and welcome back to Please Don't Livestream. It's Season 3, Episode 4. And yes, this episode is called Jeepers, Mr. Salva, which was a quick renaming of the stream. So when we called Jeepers, Mister, you gave me the creeps, because we're talking about Jeepers Creepers. But after some researching about the director of this Jeepers Creepers franchise, I chose that new name. But we'll get to that, because this is the episode where we discuss the Jeepers Creepers franchise. And I think we'll just start right away. And actually, well, of course, we have Christopher here.
Hello.
My one and only co-host for today. I actually think you should kind of take the reins, at least in the beginning, since this was actually your idea. And I really liked your idea until I saw Jeepers Creepers 3. So I'm letting you take the reins for a while here. So, first of all, just why Jeepers Creepers?
Because I saw Jeepers Creepers, the first one, like maybe a year after it came out, so 2002, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a teenager back then, so it was really cool, and I really liked it. Yeah, so I like I've always had like a soft spot for Jeepers Creepers because I saw it in an early age, and it's trash, but it's like great trash. The first one, it's just fun.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like a typical slasher. It has some different ideas for a while, but then it kind of devolves into a slasher towards the end. But it's sort of different. So I can see why it's stuck in people's heads, because it was like a big hit for that genre, and for what a small movie it was. It was a big hit.
Yeah. And also, like, creating a slasher movie where the entire movie, none of the main characters are actually killed.
Yeah.
Like, none of the people the movie ends when...
Before we talk too much, and I just want to say, this should, be a no-brainer, but obviously, major spoilers for all three movies.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movies, we're gonna spoil them. But yeah,
the first movie ends when one of the main character dies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
And there's only like two main characters, and that's really something special in that kind of genre, in the slasher genre.
Yeah, there's not really that many victims. They kill like two cops, the old lady. I guess there's a few other cops that gets killed off screen, but I mean, it's like what, like 5 people maybe? Yeah. And at least I thought for like the first like half an hour, 40 minutes, it's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, there's some creepy aspects to it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the moment it stops being creepy, it starts being like funny and funny and interesting, I would say.
Mm,
Just the monster isn't scary anymore, but it's
no.
sometimes funny and sometimes interesting. You're intrigued in what is it, how does it work, etc. Um, so you're never really bored, I would say, in the first one at least.
No, and I think that's why because I saw this back when it first premiered on Swedish television, so maybe 3 years after the cinematic release, so like 2004. Yeah, around the time the second one came out, must have been.
Mm.
And I remember I started watching it, and yeah, like I said, I liked the first like half an hour, 40 minutes, but when they actually like revealed the monsters, like oh. Because I've always been, and everyone knows this if you follow my channel, I like it when you don't see the monster. That's why Alien is one of my favorite movies, because you never really see it until the end.
Yeah.
And here's like,
I'm the opposite. I want to see the movie, the monster. If I don't see the monster, I'm disappointed. So
Yeah.
creepy, perfect for me.
but also, I think I think we can agree that the monster looks kind of goofy. Do you agree with
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's they're trying to imitate Freddy Krueger
Yeah, yeah.
100%,
And I almost,
and Freddy Krueger is not intimidating at all.
he's kind of intimidating in the first one.
Barely, I would say, barely.
He definitely gets goofier the longer that franchise goes on. uh, what I was gonna say, yeah. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Yeah,
You,
yeah, that he looks kind of goofy, and I don't know. It's this weird thing where he's a mix between this like mindless animalistic monster and like an intelligent like humanoid being. I don't know that kind of it's weird. It's not really been done before, not like that at least.
mm. We have a theory, I would say.
Okay.
We can come to that later, but a theory of how the monster actually works and what's behind it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's actually this, but I like it. It's. I think it's better than anything they will come up with.
It's a fan theory.
Oh yeah, it is totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and also back to the point on why I chose these movies.
Yeah.
I saw the first one. I had a soft spot for it, and a few years ago, I don't know, maybe 5 6 years ago, I actually saw the second one.
Oh, okay.
And just because I forgot about Jeepers Creepers, and then I just stumbled upon it, and then I realized, oh, there's a second one. So I saw the second one, and I thought it wasn't as good as the first one. It's definitely worse, but it's enjoyable too.
Yeah.
I think there's a little too many characters, and there's no really character development or like depth to any of them. I think
No.
maybe and also I think the side plot with the father and son should have been the main plot and not the bus, because that plot is
Yeah.
actually could be a good movie if that was the only plot. like it killed my son and we will get revenge and we will travel the country to find it. I think that could be a more fun movie.
Oh yeah, but I see why they split it between two different stories, because I don't think there's enough story in either of those plots for one movie. But yeah, it feels like the school bus plot is the main plot, and it should have been the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
so I saw that one, and I thought, it was kind of fun, and I liked the cliffhanger. It was a good cliffhanger, an interesting cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up. Will there be a third one? And they were like, yeah, there's gonna be a third one. I was, oh yeah. And then I was excited for like 2 years. There's gonna be a third one. And then nothing happened. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I think last year I found that the third one actually had been released, and I totally missed it. And then I didn't come around to see it. So I was thinking, last episode we were talking about we should see something like a book club thing with movies, and I was like, hey, that's a perfect perfect reason to see the third one. It's gonna be fun and great to talk about. And I was wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, and I guess this discussion is gonna sort of focus on the third one.
Mhm.
But let's have we talked briefly about the first and second one. I want to talk a little bit more about the second one. Because yeah, the first one it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we get enough information about the monster for it to like for at least me to be satisfied, but it's not too much that it gets over explained. So I think it works that way, and we have a very contained plot. It's basically two main characters and like two side characters. And I like the first one a lot, but I think a lot. I shouldn't say a lot. I liked it. I liked it, but I think I liked the second one more.
Oh.
I would agree that the first one is a better movie, but the second one was a lot more entertaining because we discussed this off air. That the first one they wanted to make a really scary movie, but they must have realized that like halfway through that this monster isn't really scary the second you actually see it. So we're gonna go for more of a dark comedy / horror feeling, especially towards the ending, because it gets a little more goofy towards the end. And I think they capitalized more on that in the second one, because the second one, the monster or the Jeepers Creepers, what do they call the monster?
They never call him anything in the movies, but in what is it, the fandom, or when people talk about the movie,
The lore.
they talk, the lore.
Yeah.
And that's like two people in a forum, but they call it the Creeper.
The Creeper, yeah, okay. Well,
Oh.
yeah. The Creeper is actually like I don't know if you remember that when he first attacks the school bus. The second one, it's a school bus full of like it's a basketball team coming home from a game, and they get attacked because it takes place. I guess I should quickly explain the lore of the monster. Every 23 years, it wakes up and it like feasts on humans for 23 days to like rebuild itself. And then after 23 days, it like goes into hibernation or something like that.
Something like that.
But it's something like in the last day, it's like super strong because it's complete again, and it goes on like a rampage or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's a little.
I think it was more like it's at the last. The way I heard it was like on the last day, it's panicking because it's only has a last day left, so
Okay.
it uses everything it has to get its prey.
That makes more sense, and especially if you watch the third one, they like mention that. But yeah, so the second one takes place on the last day of this 23-day feast. So this is his last meal. This school bus full of basketball players and cheerleaders. And when he first attacks the bus and starts crawling around on top of the bus and like looking into the windows, like looking at them. He's almost like toying with them,
Yeah.
like taunting them, and like, because he can smell fear, and that's what he wants. He wants to eat the people that are the most scared, because it's like in it. It's like seasoning your steak. The fear is the seasoning. I think they say in the book. This is basically the same concept. So he's like looking at them. It's like, you, oh me, no, you, oh, behind, and it's all that stuff was like it was fun. He was toying with his food. It was like a cat toying with a mouse, and it was comedic, and the characters were all very like over, or at least the most of the characters were like very over the top, and it felt like they knew they weren't making like pure horror anymore. These aren't scary movies. Let's just have fun with it. Especially then because the ending of the movie is like a fucking action movie, where you have like hillbillies with harpoons, my rocket propelled harpoons, like firing on the monster and stuff. It gets very, very goofy towards the end. So I think they really hit their stride with the second one. I would say, even though it's not as good of a movie as the first one.
I would say the second one. One of the biggest things, I think, the biggest drawbacks of the second one is for me. I mean, I think they changed the monster in a way I did not prefer, because he was more of a he was kind of stupid and clumsy in the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
He
that's
didn't
part of
feel
the goofy part, the goofy
yeah,
aesthetic.
but and in the first one he felt more like he felt smart,
Mm-hmm.
but not um smart but not caring. Like he didn't care if people see him. He didn't care if people found his truck or found his church, or he didn't care, but he was smart about it. He was smart about things. Like in the second and in the first one, he's when they run him over like 4 times,
Yeah.
and he's completely like pulverized, and he limps to a police station. He's still smart enough to like creep in that nobody sees him until he gets fed, and then after he's fed and he's like strong again, then he attacks. I think in the second one he was just, yeah, I don't know, he was just goofy, and he did things that didn't make sense, I would say, and
Oh,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of ruined it for me.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and that ruined it for me somewhat. He was still fun to look at. He was still fun, but he wasn't intimidating anymore,
No, not at all.
which he was in the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's because I never like I said, I always had a hard time taking the monster seriously with Mr. Creeper or whatever. So when they got rid of all that serious stuff, I was like, okay, I can deal with this. This is more fun. So that it works for me at least. But I definitely see your point. If you really appreciate how they portrayed the monster in the first one, yeah, it's a complete like betrayal in the second one. Because he's like Freddy Krueger in the second one.
Except in the opening scene in the second one, which is
Oh yeah,
a great scene. by the way.
yeah, that's
great
amazing.
opening.
Yeah, he's hiding out. He's up on a cross pretending to be a scarecrow and attacks this little boy in like a wheat field or cornfield.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, that's an amazing scene. That's the like only really scary scene in the movie, or sort of scary.
Yeah.
But also the second one also it's set it up very well for a third one, and
Yeah.
I can see why people were asking for a third one. The problem being though that if you go by the lore, he only appears once every 23 years, and since they defeat him, they don't even if they don't defeat him, he still goes into hibernation. So they can only make one movie every 23 years, which is very very annoying. I can understand, or they like have to set the sequel in the future. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that lore thing that he can only appear every 23 years. But then the third one did come out almost 14 years later. So it's like, hey, it's almost 23 years later. So
Close enough.
close enough. So it could have been a sequel to the second one, but instead, the third one is a midquel. It takes place after the first one, but before the second one, which first of all destroys any tension at all, because the
Yeah.
monster will survive.
And also, did anybody want to see that? Did anybody care about what happened between the first and the second movie?
No.
Anyone?
And it's so stupid because we know the first one takes place somewhere in these 23 days. And we know the
Yeah.
second one takes place at the 23rd day of his feast. Who cares what happens in between? Who cares?
Yeah. And
He
also,
he just kills people. Okay.
and also, in the second one, they hear on the radio about the first one.
Yeah.
So it can't be more than like maybe 2 or 3 days between them.
No, yeah,
The
that's
first and the
basically
second
what I
one?
thought as well.
Yeah. So they created a movie for 3 days that we know how they start and they end.
Yeah, it's so dumb, and it's also so vague. Well, at least for me, that the first time I watched this, because I had to watch this, the third one, I had to watch it in like increments. I could only watch it for a little while because it was spoilers. It's at least I think it's terrible.
Yes, yes, it is.
Almost completely terrible. So I saw the first one and the second one like 2 weeks back when we first discussed it. I saw the first one and the second one in 2 days in a row. Like I saw the first one Tuesday, the second one Wednesday, and then I was gonna watch the third one on Thursday. And I think I saw like 30 minutes and I had to turn it off. It was so terrible. And it's like, yeah, the first two aren't like masterpieces, but at least like they had good acting. At least they had like, I don't know.
At least they had practical effects.
Oh yeah, that too. I was thinking about that. Yeah, let's discuss the effects in the third one, because
I mean, I'm not seeing many effects worse than that one.
No, I have to say this. It is a low budget movie, but it's still made in 2017 and it looks terrible.
Yeah. I think the worst thing in the entire movie, which my jaw was open when I saw it. It was when they crash a car and the car rolls in CG.
Oh God, yes.
And it's horrible. It's worse than most video games.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. It looks like like a bad like cutscene from like 2005 or something. Yeah, like a PS2 or maybe PS3 game. It looks terrible.
And I mean, it can't have been cheaper to CGI a car crash than actually creating a car crash. It can't.
No, because
I don't know, because I don't work in it and I have no idea how much these things cost, time put in. But I mean, a car rolling a few rolls, that's a lot of parts that needs to be animated and CGI'd. I mean, it must have been cheaper to actually just crash a car.
Yeah, but I think honestly, you know what? I found the scene on the road there where they flip the car and all. Let's just watch that a little bit. Let's see here, because I think I might have like why it looks so terrible, because I think it's just they didn't like design the cars themselves. It's like a finished model that they just like put a skin on. It must be some, because it looks so terrible. It must be some kind of shortcut used.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not sure about that,
sense.
but it looks too bad to be like a real job, or it's just they should have fired that animator, because whew. Let's see here. Oh no, that's wrong. Discord. Which one is it? Nope. Oh no! Don't I have that? Wait, let's do this then.
It's just a few seconds, the last few seconds on the clip.
Yeah. I just gotta. Where did I? Oh no. Let's do this then. I'll just do this. I think it's like from 240. We also get the great bullet hits. Let's do this. Do display capture like this. Let's see if it works. I can't. Christopher, can you look at the stream and see if YouTube actually shows up in the top of the?
I'll check.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
YouTube is there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play it then. So this is. I'll lower the volume a little bit.
I mean, I see a lot of other things. I see your tabs and stuff too.
Huh. Oh, whatever. It's not that important.
Yeah, I think I see your whole screen, I think.
Yeah. Here now we're gonna see the bullets. They bounce off and it's in slow motion too. Just that. It's so terrible. Here when he flips over. Look at the explosion. Ah. Oh, here it comes.
I mean,
Look at it. Look at it. Oh.
how?
Look at it. Oh no! Oh, and then like it's not even a real car when they land. It's so
No,
bad.
I mean, it's like that when it just completely stops.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and that's every like digital effect in the movie looks like that.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you got like a George Lucas complex that a bunch of stuff that could have been done practical is made digital. It's CGI, and it's like, why? Just make it.
There are a few reasons where I understand. I always prefer practical effects, of course, like everyone does.
Of course.
But there's some places I understand it when, for example, when they're creating. I don't know if The Thing did it, but the remake of The Thing.
Yeah.
Where they weren't sure how it what it would look like. They hadn't really decided on the design of the monster yet. And then they say, well, yeah, okay, we'll do it in CGI later when we are actually sure. And I understand those things when we're not really sure how the scene will look. And that's of course it's bad planning and just laziness. You should know that when you start filming the movie. But I still understand the motivation. But in this scene we just saw, where they know the car is gonna crash, there's no other way this could go.
Yeah.
Why CGI it?
Yeah.
Unless they, as you said, found a cheap shortcut.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think they just got lazy. I mean, they could just buy some cheap ass car and crash it. I mean.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I don't have any money. I could film a better car crash. Because it costs you like, in dollars, it would cost you like a few $100 to buy a decent, like, old car. And you just, well, I couldn't flip it, but I could blow it up. Just pour some gasoline in it and blow it up. It's not that hard.
Well, hey, now, I think you need some permits for that, though.
It would look so good. I just want to blow up a car, man. There, now if you want to show something more, I have a proper display capture. Anyway, yeah, but it's like when he throws like his what you call shuriken, the ninja star thing, or the spear, or the grate that closes in the back of his car that chops people's arms off and shit. Like that could have been done practical, and it would have looked so much better. Like they've like over relied on CGI in this shitty little horror movie. Like why?
And also, like, it was so weird. The story in the third one was so weird.
Yeah.
There were like no main story, only like 6 side stories mashed together.
It's only B plots.
Yeah, only B plots.
Yeah, it's like like The Last Jedi. It's just B plots.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just so weird, and they're like, I understand the plot with the militia.
Yeah. Quick thing about that.
Oh.
The guy we saw shooting the machine gun or the Gatling gun or whatever it is, him and his brother, their father was killed by the monster 23 years ago. Couldn't they just have tweaked the script there and made that the two brothers from, or the one brother, I suppose, from the second movie? Do you know what I mean?
No. Who?
The.
What? Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, with the farmer.
Yeah, the farm. It could have just been the farmer kid.
Yeah. That's actually the first time I saw him. I actually thought that.
Yeah, me too.
And then I realized, oh right, this is before that happened.
Yeah, and that's what's. Oh, I don't know if I said that. That's one of the things. Like I didn't realize it was a midquel. I thought it was a sequel, but it didn't really make sense in my head. But then, he's there, but his brother's alive. Wait, that can't be them. And it wasn't until I actually finished the movie today, like 10 minutes before we started streaming, it's like, oh wait, this takes place in between. Yeah. That's retarded.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the militia people, which is like for people who haven't seen the movie, uh, there's a group of people who have lost family members and friends to the creeper
Yeah,
23 years ago.
yeah,
And they have banded together to stop him when he returns.
yeah.
And they're extremely bad at this.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, they have like they've been preparing for 23 years and they can't do anything.
Yeah, he kills them
But,
all in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So these people, I understand that plot line and those people.
Sure.
I get it, and there we also have like the police captain or sergeant, wherever, from that survived the creeper in the first movie.
Yeah.
Who fought the creeper and survived, and his like initiation to this militia group. And
Yeah.
I think it could have been interesting. It wasn't, but it could have been.
Yeah, that should have
And
been
I
the main plot.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, so I get that plot. And then we have the mother plot,
Oh God, yeah.
which was
the
I-
grandma with the dead son.
yeah. I see what they were trying to do, and maybe it could have worked, but I'm skeptical. And her plot was that she lost her son to the creeper 23 years ago, and for some reason her son appears to her as a ghost, and we are explicitly told that this is not like in her mind this actually happening, and he is part of the creeper in some way.
Yeah, they kind of hint at that.
In the second one with
Yeah.
the guy from the first one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
There's too many
it's so,
psychics in these movies.
Yeah.
Everyone's a psychic.
it's so vague in the second one though that it kind of works. It's like, oh, that's weird, but anyway, it's over now. But it's
Yeah.
it's like the main almost like the main focus in the third one, and it's about characters we have no idea who they are. Like, oh, the grandma who lost her son 23 years ago. I don't care. I don't know these people.
But by the way, did you realize who that son was? Because he's in the
No.
first one.
What? Wait, the
Yeah.
character or the actor?
The character, and he doesn't appear. They talk about. I don't know. You do see him, but they talk about him. In the first one, in the beginning of the first one,
Yeah.
they talk about a couple who was killed 23 years ago when driving home from prom,
Oh.
and then they never find her head, and then they find those two bodies in the basement sewn together.
Oh, okay. But wait. That doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Because in the beginning of the third one, he's alone in the car when he finds the guy, or the hand falls down.
Yeah. No, they address that, but it's understandable that you didn't listen because you zone out through the movie.
Yeah.
I've been skipping through it a few times because
Okay.
I forget things, but no, his timeline, the grandmother's son's timeline is
Mhm.
he was out driving for some reason somewhere
Okay.
at night.
Yeah.
And he sees a guy come running at him with a machete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he stops his car, and the guy with the machete is caught by the creeper, and
Yeah.
they fly away.
Yeah.
The son then goes out of the car, and what the fuck was that? And then find the creeper's hand that falls from the sky.
Yeah.
because,
All that happens we see that in the beginning of the third.
yeah, and that's because the guy with the machete successfully chopped his arm off.
Yeah.
Arm off. Yeah, and then he took the hand, and went home.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then he stored the hand. In
Oh
the
yeah, he was
car.
killed after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Then he
yeah,
stored
yeah,
and then he buried the hand,
Yeah.
and then he is caught by the creeper looking for the hand,
Sure.
but
okay.
he's already hidden the hand.
Yeah. That was
and-
me. I fucked up. Yeah.
No,
That's,
yeah. And so I thought that was a kind of a neat connection.
Sure.
That it's the same guy, but I mean, it couldn't help the plot anyway. But it is kind of they tried. With
Yeah,
that
it's like
one detail.
yeah, it's like one of those. Oh, remember, it's the guy they talked about in the first. It's like a what's it called? A fan. Oh oh no, what's it called?
Easter egg?
Well, yeah, like an Easter egg or like a nod.
Yeah.
Like hey,
Yeah.
hey, like when they zoom in on the blue milk in Rogue One. It's like, oh, it's the blue milk. But it doesn't add anything to the story.
No.
I still don't know. I still don't care about those characters. And they try to make us care, but then they try to make us care about the granddaughter and the guy with all the freckles. I don't know anybody's name, and that they are the most boring actors I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they both act like it's some sort of like tragic like romance saga. It's just like it's so terrible, and oh, she's so distraught because they have no money to feed her horse, and he's like, oh, I feel your pain. It's so overdone. And
yeah, I mean, what's the point of that plot line?
Yeah.
At all.
Well,
we need to squeeze in a plot line with two teenagers falling in love, and because she can't afford food to her horse.
And I get it. It's supposed to be the emotional core. Like, these are the people we're supposed to care about when we're not watching the action grandpas trying to shoot it. The problem is that they have to spend like I don't know, like 20 minutes like setting up that romance, and it's just terrible. They should have been a couple from the beginning. They should have been like, we're all happy-go-lucky, and then, oh my god, she was taken by the monster. I gotta fucking save her.
Yeah.
Much easier. It could have been done in 5 minutes, and it would have been a pre-established relationship. They could have just shown them being all happy together, lovey-dovey, and we would have bought that. Instead, we have this boring fucking love story that goes nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, I think the worst thing in the movie is the fucking hand thing.
Oh, yeah.
So as I said, the son found the hand and buried it at home and then got killed. And then he tells the grandma, as a ghost, of course, that the creeper is coming back.
Of course.
Which he knows, of course.
Yeah.
To get the hand, obviously, 23 years later.
Yeah, because he has to be whole before he can sleep or hibernate.
No. Because he's removing evidence.
Oh, right. But
it's because nobody can know who he is.
Everybody already know.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so the grandma digs up the hand and then sees that it's alive. It's like the Evil Dead 2 hand.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad.
And then she touches the hand, and we then are told that she knows the entire story of the creeper and how to kill it. And we're told that, but we're not told any of. She doesn't tell anyone what it is. And then the police, the militia comes there, and she tells them, I know how to do it, I know how to kill it, and I know where it's come from. And they're like, tell us! No, you have to touch the hand, so you also get the visions. And one of them does, and then they're like, yep, I know it, and then they leave.
Yeah, and the thing is...
And then he gets killed without telling anyone how to kill it.
Yeah, and wait, I like literally watched the movie like, 40 minutes ago. I don't even remember. They don't even kill the monster. Well, obviously they don't kill the monster.
No.
So I'm like rewatching it. All right, yeah. So what's the point?
There's no point.
There's no point to this movie. And then the ending, like when he finds the hand, it's this weird thing where like it's nailed to this sign that says "We know what you are," and he like breaks the hand.
And then he breaks the hand, and then presumably he just flies off and pretends to be a scarecrow.
Yeah, that's why I kind of zone out, because I didn't. Nothing happens after that. The guy finds the girl, and they released a little bunny from the beginning. Yeah, whatever. It's a bunny in a cage. And then it's all like, oh, we're so happy. And then they have the cameo of the girl from the first movie, the sister character. I don't know any names. And she's like, she's sitting from the computer. So I was like, she's recording a podcast or like a vlog or something. And she's talking about how they're gonna kill it this time.
Yeah, and also, that's also a flash forward.
Yeah, it has to be, because she's obviously 14 years older.
The ending of the second one and the ending of the third one is at the same time.
Right, yeah, it must be. And it's so retarded. But I know that actress from the first movie and who had the cameo in this, the third one, she has mentioned in interviews that the director and writer Victor Salva, he has plans for a fourth one. It's not written down, but he has like the whole plot in his head.
I also heard that there's talks about a TV show. Well, not talks about that, like they want to. It's an option.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't think there's going to be any more Jeepers Creepers stuff after this one.
No. I mean, it took 14 years to get the funding for a third one, and it did. I don't even know if it made the money back.
Let me check. Cause it actually did. It had a very limited release. It was like released only 2 days, like the end of September, middle of October, like 2 different dates. It was shown about at like 600 theaters around America. So it was a pretty limited release, but it actually made for being so limited, it made like a decent amount of money. It made like $2 million or something. So it wasn't a complete failure like that. However, I don't know what the budget was. Let me check if I can find it. Jeepers Creepers 3. No, I don't know. They don't say what the budget is, but it made $2.3 million worldwide. In America. But yeah, I don't think that's enough. Unless he funds it himself, they're never gonna do a fourth one or a TV series or anything. So
yeah, I mean, the only reason it made money, I would say, is because of the hype between the fan base, the small fan base that exists.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, finally, and then they get this shit. I mean, the only reason that I can think of they had the hand plot line. Well, two reasons. One, they cut something huge.
Yeah.
Like maybe they were planning to have like a flashback where you see the origin, but they didn't have money to do it, so they had to cut it, and they didn't rewrite it. Maybe. Or that they're setting up this grandma character to be like a kind of a guru person for the fourth one, like a person who knows how to kill it, and maybe I don't know. I mean, like if they plan on something like the grandma person and the farmer dude and the sister from the first one to team up to be like the creeper squad, I don't know, maybe.
But that's also a thing we should discuss then. How much further can you take this this premise? Like all 3 movies are basically the same thing. It's just people trying to kill it, and it can't be killed.
Yeah.
What else can you do with that concept?
Well, I mean, I think you could do a lot. I think you could if you wanted to, and you actually like thought about it. Like he didn't, obviously. I mean, I think you could do. It's an old trope in horror, but I think it would work great for this one actually. A Wild West version where we see where he comes from in the Wild West.
That could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be fun, but it wouldn't expand the franchise in any way. It would just be another movie.
No. If you make it like that's how he is created in that Wild West time.
Oh, sure, okay.
And that's because he has the coat and the hat, and that he is an old like gunslinger person or something in that way.
That could work.
You could do something like that. You could do like a prequel where you explain where he comes from, and then you can do a sequel which ends the franchise, which starts with the farmer and maybe the sister and maybe the grandmother and maybe someone else, and they're putting their heads together and they actually kill it. Like the grandma have the knowledge how to kill it, and the farmer has the weapons to kill it, and the sister has the information. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, they could do. I think they could do at least one prequel which explains the origins and one ending movie. So I think there's 2 more movies in the franchise, but I don't want them to be made. By this guy.
Just end it.
Yeah, I mean, it's over now. it had its chance. We'll move forward from this.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I was thinking since it only appears once every 23 years. That was like my thoughts about when I saw the second one. Like a third one, yeah, should take place now, and a fourth one should take place like in like it will almost be like a sci-fi movie, like
Jason X.
yeah, Jason X, right. That would be awesome. Trying to kill him with laser guns and stuff. That could be just for fun. You have like period pieces. You have a Wild West movie and you have a future sci-fi movie, like something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's as long as you don't take it seriously and you understand that you make an Evil Dead movie, like a fun horror movie. I think they could go far with it.
Maybe.
But because of the third one, they have killed the franchise and the characters.
Yeah, I would say so too. And also let's not end it. Well, yeah, let's end it on a sour note. Let's talk a little bit about the creator of this franchise, one Mr. Victor Silva, which
Yeah.
I didn't find out this until today. That he is a
same actually. Same.
Yeah.
I did some last minute research and was like, oh.
He is a convicted child molester, and like a self-acclaimed pedophile.
Yeah.
And the weirdest part is he was imprisoned for like 15 months, which is fucking nothing. But anyway.
No. I read 3 years.
Yeah, his sentence was 3 years. He was released after just 15 months.
Oh. Shit.
Yeah, and he fucking molested like what was he, like 14-year-old in 1988.
And it was an actor in one of his movies too.
Yeah, in his first big movie, Clown House, which I watched a little bit of because it's actually on YouTube. The whole movie, it's whatever. It was kind of weird to look at it after I had read about what he did, and it's like, oh no, because and he was. I listened to an interview with the guy, the kid he's like 40 years old now, and. Victor Silva, I don't know. Oh, I gotta find out what the kid's name was. Christian something Winters, I think it was, something like that. Nathan something Winters. Let me look it up. But anyway, Victor Silva had actually worked at the daycare center, or the kindergarten, where this kid went to when he was like a child of like 6-7 years old.
Fuck.
Yeah, and Victor Silva became a friend of the family, this kid's family. And like babysat him, and with like the way he explained it, he started grooming him from when he was like 9 years old, and it wasn't just one accident. This was something that went on from like the first time he was actually abused was when he was like 11 or something like that, and it went on until they outed him when the kid was 14 years old. Nathan Forrest Winters was his name, and and he just confessed to it right away. So I did it. I don't know. Maybe hopefully he felt ashamed, and that's why he admitted it. But the way he explained it was like he just I did it. It was like not even like remorseful about it. It's super weird, and that kind of put a bad bad cloud over the whole thing. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a horrible person, but again, it's my philosophy is to separate the art from the artist.
Oh, sure.
I mean, so it's not a problem for me regarding the movies, but I mean, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's so many, especially now these days.
Oh, sure.
So many people that's been convicted and found out how horrible they are. And I mean, if you have to, if you're gonna stop watching one person's movies, you gotta go through all of them.
Yeah.
And like Polanski and Woody Allen and like everything that Harvey Weinstein produced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think we've
Yeah.
briefly talked about this in other streams that I am also able to separate the art from the artist for the most part. But
Yeah.
it was just like actually sitting. I was just gonna read a little bit about Jeepers Creepers 3 before watching it, and it was like, wait, something about a controversy I saw on Wikipedia. It's like people trying to get it like to not be played. Oh, because he's a pedophile. Oh, it's like no, why?
also another thing that I found. It was kind of weird, and I couldn't find any statement. But after he got out, after he was convicted, he made a Disney movie. He made Powder,
Yeah, he made Powder.
which is produced by Disney, and that's
I think it is,
kind of-
right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that there's like no Disney haven't acknowledged it at all. Apparently,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was a different time.
yeah, I guess.
I guess they could get away with that back then more than they
Mm.
can now because of all the Me Too stuff.
Yeah. No.
Maybe something like that, but still, like, why even hire him? It's not like he had a bunch of like. It wasn't like he was an acclaimed director. He had made
No.
fucking Clown House before this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get it why he gets to make movies.
No, yeah, it's so
I mean-
weird.
I mean, Jeepers Creepers 1, I get it because it's like, yeah, I can try it. And like Jeepers Creepers series, I get it because he made the first one. I don't know how he got the money, but I guess it's good. It's a good script, I guess.
Actually, it was backed by Francis Ford Coppola's production company, American Zoetrope,
Oh,
who actually this is also just from his that interview with the kid, the Nathan Forrest Winters, because Coppola actually watched his Victor Salva, as his name is, I saw now. He saw one of his like early like zero budget homemade movies on like some festival. This was before Clown House, and Coppola saw this and said, "Hey, if you have any like movie that you want to make, like a proper movie, I'll fund it for you." So they were like kind of they kind of became like buddies. He kind of became buddies with Francis Ford Coppola. And there's also, once again, hearsay that Coppola put up the money for this really expensive lawyer when they were gonna charge him with child molestation, so that he got a.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there's like, yeah, he has the right friends.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because that's the only reason I understand he gets to make movies. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a reason.
I think that's why he has been able
Yeah.
to make movies. Like
No.
he had he had a friend with a lot of money, Francis Ford Coppola. It's like, hey, I want to make this small budget horror movie. So can you produce it? Yeah, sure. Because nobody else wanted to.
Also, another thing I heard, because when I was reading on the controversy of Jeepers Creepers 3, I don't know if you read that too, but he actually put in a child molestation joke
Yeah.
in the third one.
Yeah, I read about it, but I didn't acknowledge it in the movie.
I acknowledged it, but I didn't acknowledge it as I didn't.
I didn't notice it. I
yeah,
read it, but
I heard a joke, but I didn't fully get what they were meaning until I read about it.
when did they say it's like the heart wants what the heart wants or something like that?
Well, the thing is, the girl, the horse girl,
Yeah.
it's when the love interest
Yeah.
is talking with, I think it's his brother, and
Yeah.
when she gets to trying to get hay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And they're talking outside, and I think the love interest said, you know why she's here, and it also, and she says he said something like she lived with her dad who touched her,
Oh yeah.
and then when they find out, he had to move here and live with her crazy grandma,
Yeah.
and that's when the brother says, well, Have you looked at her? Can you blame the stepfather?
Oh,
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Oh my god!
It's just,
Hey,
it's a bad joke.
yeah,
And
and even
it's
worse when
such-
it comes from him.
Yeah, when it comes from him, he wrote this. He didn't co-wrote this with anyone. He wrote this everything himself. And he was, well, this seems like a reasonable joke with my past that
Oh.
everyone knows about.
God.
The nerve of this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't know.
That's in really poor taste. Like,
Yeah.
I can laugh at most things, but not.
I mean,
Not that.
if another person would have made the same joke, I would have been like, yeah, that's distasteful, but okay.
Yeah, but he's a
when it's
child
this guy-
molester.
Yeah, he is that.
Oh god. Yeah, that's.
Also,
Yeah.
before we end, back to the actual movies.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, I had a theory of what the creature is.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have any thoughts, or don't you care?
No, I haven't really speculated about it. Well, but
'Cause,
what's your idea?
My theory is that he's actually a creature. The third one destroys this theory, by the way,
Okay.
because in the third one he's actually magic for some reason.
Yeah.
But if the third one didn't exist,
Okay. Yeah.
that he's actually a creature that doesn't look like a human, and the only thing that this creature had from the beginning was these things here
Mm-hmm.
and the wings, and then he started that he can eat different species and get the aspects of that species. But then he started eating humans and started to look like a human because
Okay.
he ate human parts, and he started to grow in intelligence because he ate human minds. At the start of it, it's just a fucking creature eats things and gets aspects of the things it eats.
Yeah, that could make sense. And I think they kind of mentioned something like that he disguises himself as a human to be able to hide from the world. That's why he put like a coat on, and that it's not his hair. He takes hair from people he kills and stuff like that.
You can see the hair is stuffed in the collar.
Yeah. And that's also in the end of this the first movie. He is skinned Justin Long, and he's obviously going to use the skin for something because the last shot is him looking through the eye hole of his skin suit. So it's that would make sense. And he's evolving from eating humans for so long.
And I think that could be a kind of fun thing to play with, that theory. But yeah, and the third one, he's apparently magic for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't,
or something. I don't.
No, it's actually because he force grabs his axe.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, he does.
I mean,
I don't know.
The other things, like the weird fucking truck with 1 billion, with its own will and 1 billion traps.
Yeah.
Bombs apparently that's homing when they're rolling.
What?
I mean, most of those things you can explain away by saying he's really smart and he's great at building stuff.
Yeah.
But when he force grabs his axe from a few meters away, you can't really explain that off more than magic.
No. Yeah, he's it's a very inconsistent monster. The lore doesn't really make sense. It kind of falls apart when you start poking at it. So yeah. So well,
so what do you give it? What do you give the movies score? How do you score them?
That's true.
Separately?
This is kind of a hybrid. This is almost like a please don't make a scene. Well, the first one would say is a solid a solid 6 out of 10. It's pretty good, but for me it kind of falls apart towards the end. The second one I enjoyed more, so maybe a light 7, but probably 6 as well, but more of a positive 6, if you will. I don't know. And the third one, I'm trying to there's not really anything redeeming about it. Like, I don't know. Some of the camera work is okay, so like a 2 out of 10 maybe.
There's a few good deaths.
I guess. And I mean, the CG is
Horrible.
yeah, it's horrible. No, yeah, maybe 2, maybe 3, because the monster is still kind of cool, and they really emphasized how cool the monster is in the third one. 2, maybe 3 out of 10. Well, what is your
I would say the first one is a solid 7.
Okay.
I could put that movie on anytime, and I would have fun.
Yeah, probably.
Second one, yeah, 6, a weak 6, I would say. I would put it on if I just seen the first one.
Yeah.
The third one, yeah, it's a 3. I wouldn't put it on ever again.
No, and
hopefully.
Yeah, and I gotta say also, the second one kind of has a great ending.
Yeah.
Like that could have been the ending of the franchise, because they've captured it, and every time it wakes up, they're gonna kill it again because they have it captured.
Second one has the greatest ending and beginning of the franchise.
Yeah, that's why I like the second one.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's just that the middle is just body count.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's kind of interesting how this idea started, that you were really hyped about watching the third one, and now that we've all done it, or at least you and I have, it's like nobody likes the third one. It's like, nope, this was a mistake. But hey, at least we got to experience a new movie, and that's something, I guess.
Yeah, you should. I think it's your turn to find a movie for us to see, and maybe the other 2 will be back then.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I understand Gabba had some medical issues. That's one thing, but fucking Donnie, he didn't even turn up. That's I don't like that. But hey, forgive and forget. Let live and let live. Turn the other cheek. All that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week we will not be back. I haven't told you this, but I'm telling you now, I'm actually going on a little vacation for a week.
Oh.
So I'm leaving this Saturday. I'm going up to the Swedish, I don't know what you call it in English, the Swedish Alps. I'm going to Fjällen, as it's called, for a week. So I won't be able to stream on the next Monday. So we won't be back then, but we'll be back the week after that, and until then, I'll have a subject for that week's stream, but I don't have one now. But quickly also, my review for Glass was delayed for various reasons, but I'm in the process of editing it. It's going to be up hopefully tomorrow, so look forward to that, everyone who's watching. And yeah, we'll be back with a new stream in 2 weeks. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
I don't care what the weatherman says when the weatherman says it's raining. You'll never hear me complaining. I'm certain the sun will shine. I don't care how the weather van points when the weather van points to gloomy. It's gotta be sunny to me when your eyes look into mine. Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Gosh, all get up, how'd you get so lit up? Gosh, all get up,